looks like a vibrator that's on the end.
I thought it looked like a tampon with no string.
I'm looking for a card to save me, hoping that'll save my life. Looking for something to help me wipe out Lowry. I'm looking for damnation, looking 'cause I'm tired of dying. I'm hoping it makes me win this fucking game. I'm hoping that it makes me win this fucking game.
Yeah, so that's Foo Fighters. I'm not sure if I know the name of the song though.
I'll give you a hint. It has Jack Black in the video.
Learn to Fly.
There you go.
All right.
Good job.
Okay.
Good job.
I got there.
I did it in kind of a dedication for what our A&L question might be today. Might be. I say might because we always we've teased twice now that we get to the A&L question and it's like
it's gonna be Mount Rushmore of bands.
Yep. So we actually were supposed to do this one 2 weeks ago, and then our episode was 2 hours long. So. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths. I'm
Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
Hey, we know how to do it when you're on vacation after 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're not rusty. We're back. We're back, baby.
How was your beer drinking? I mean, your Florida trip.
I did pretty well with my beer drinking. Florida trip was pretty bright, though.
Yeah. I love Jeremy's comment on Twitter last week because then I was tweeting out stuff trying to be like, here's sharing with Adam because I'm drinking beer. And he's like, are you sure you guys are like a magic podcast? Because all you guys tweet about his beer.
It was just kind of funny because we're doing the Great Henge giveaway, full art, and then the proxy along with it, and we gained like 20 followers, like improved by like
for
25-30%. And all I did was beer.
Yeah.
I did roughly, when I was there, I tasted somewhere in between 20 and 25 different beers.
That's crazy.
So I had like 8 samplers and a 6-pack, pick 6. And
your wife, Kirsten, I was talking to her earlier tonight. She was saying that Florida isn't they don't have like the breweries or the micro brews that we have up here.
They have some.
But not where you guys were at.
Yeah.
Yours was more of like, they wanted the easy drinking beers on the beach.
Yeah. And I actually I went into a place and I was just like, do you guys have any craft beer? And they're like, look, you northerners just, and I was like, how can you tell? You
got a beard.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay. He's like, you want these craft beers, you'll be out on the beach, it's 110 degrees, and you'll just puke. And I was just like, but it's not 100, it's like 80.
So it's perfect out. Why don't you have these beers out? So you said that you went to like 4 or 5 different...
I went to 5 different places that had alcohol, and I did not get to find... Like, it was pretty limited selection, but enough for what I was doing as well. I didn't have a car. We're in a place called Treasure Island, which is really near Tampa.
Yeah, it's just between...
St. Pete's, I guess. Yeah. But like literally I was walking everywhere and we did not walk far. So
well, what am I drinking here, speaking of beer?
I brought some back from Florida. So this one I did share this this one was on Twitter. So it's Wicked Weeds Brewing Cherry Key Lime Burst Session Sour.
Interesting. I can taste the cherry and the sour and a little bit of the lime on that.
Yeah. It's a solid one. You want to smell it though?
Well, I did when you opened it.
I don't know, it kind of smells like it's yeasty. It's a yeasty one to smell. So
I could smell it when you opened it. But yeah, like I like this has a little cherry in it because while you were gone, I did a sharing with Adam and I prematurely rated the beer and I like sipped it and I wanted to be like, yeah,
it's
look
so
at me.
Amazing.
I got a beer that I'm sharing with myself and this is delicious. And it was a lime sour, which it didn't like.
Yeah.
The only way you could tell it was lime is just by like how this beer has the little green in it. Mm-hmm. It didn't have it in the name or anything like that. And so I got like halfway through and I'm like, oh, I don't like this beer. Because I
like top 5. I saw that.
I was just like, update, take that out of my top 5 because it is not a top 5 beer.
So I would say I for sure had some. I had like maybe so I had Hawaiian Lion, which was a coconut coffee stout.
Oh, that was amazing.
Really, really good. That was really good.
I've been trying to find the coffee beers.
They're going to start coming out.
Okay.
So
it's more of a winter
they're more
thing?
seasonal.
Okay. Yeah. I keep going to the liquor store and they barely even have sours, but they don't have any coffee.
So check out this is one that I really liked probably when we started the podcast. I haven't gone back to it lately, but it's Founder's Oatmeal Coffee Stout.
Okay.
Or Breakfast Stout. Very good. It's a oatmeal coffee
you might
breakfast
have to text
stout.
me that later, or
It's
maybe
real
when
good.
I'm re-listening to this episode and editing it, Adam, write this down right now.
But
make a
also,
note.
when we get to it, when we do a double, I did get Parish Brewing. I ended up talking with one of the liquor stores that had chains, and the Far Away chain had the Parish Brewing, which is one of our listeners works there. He sent that up to us back in the spring, and so I convinced them to
send it to
the liquor store that I could pick it up at, and I got
yeah, because you guys didn't rent a car. You guys were able to get a shuttle from the airport to where you guys.
So
were staying.
we were pretty localized to basically a mile
Please
radius.
send this to me.
Yeah, or I had to run. I had 2 hours to get there and back from when my kid was napping and skip lunch and stuff like that. So I didn't want to. So I did get the 2, and we'll have those hopefully soon because they're flipping amazing.
So this is actually a magic podcast and not a beer podcast, but
we're pretty far into this.
We're 6 minutes in.
So we do have a giveaway that we're still doing, and
yes.
you can retweet it, and every time you retweet it, and we'll say...
until the end of the month.
Yeah,
so
until the end of the month.
It'll coincide with how this episode goes out, and then I typically will throw out that tweet, and you can retweet that thread. And at the end of the month, we'll take all the people that retweeted, take all the names, and do a giveaway, kind of like we just did tonight with our
spin the
Patron
wheel.
giveaway. Yeah, spin the wheel, and
whoever gets it, we'll contact you, or we'll tell you on Twitter, and we will DM you to get information.
But there's also another giveaway.
What?
Win Lowry's Quip.
Yeah, so I got a Quip back when I was supposed to get a foil uncut sheet.
Yeah.
And
you did get one eventually.
I did eventually get one, so now I have something to replace the Quip with.
Quip. So
I believe
ready to
it's
give it away.
unused, and if you retweet it and say I have a Quip and I would not mind this, you're going to win the random.
You're going to
win the randomness.
Random. What the hell are you talking about?
That's all you have to say. Because that's not. I thought I'd get a lot more retweets.
I know that's
on
the
this.
funny thing. We were predicting.
We're at 10
because we double casted last week, or 2 weeks ago. So we didn't know what the results were after the first week, but man, yeah, it didn't get that many compared to the Great Henge giveaway. But still, it's getting retweets. And the problem was,
I just hope you're laughing.
I had to use an image, and it kind of looks like a vibrator that's on the image.
I thought it looked like a tampon. With no string. I need the string.
So it's either a tampon or I don't know. We could give away
whatever
both.
your imagination.
That was your special giveaway.
I will send it to you. Somebody that retweets it for the joke, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, I'm sending this to you," and they're like, "I don't want it." Then one of our patrons might randomly end up with.
Speaking of one of our patrons, we actually had a new patron this week.
We did. Who?
You
gotta say it. The Frugal Brutal.
Brutal.
Frugal Brutal.
Thanks,
you know who
buddy,
you are.
for
becoming a patron. That's very nice to help support us. You were a couple days late for the patron giveaway for last month.
We should jump into that right now.
Throne of Eldraine. We opened up a box.
And we had to kind of switch things up because, as you guys know, battle boxes did not come out.
We are having technical difficulties.
We recorded
when it comes to videos,
4 different videos when we do those shoots, and I was able to get 3 of them off my phone, but not the big one off my phone.
The one that you guys would care about, opening a box and battling.
That one I could not get off my phone. I'm thinking it's a computer issue, so I'm already in all this stuff. I'm already in the process of looking for a new computer because
this one's like 10 years old anyway.
Diablo 4 is coming out. I got this one out when Diablo 3 came out, so I have to get a new computer. So, anyways, we didnn't want to keep wasting time and not.
So we opened up. There was some really cool cards,
and we didn't do battle packs this time because we didn't have a video going. So everybody that we drew just got the pack, and we actually got. What did we get in this? We actually got an Oko.
An Oko,
which at the time you're listening to this may or may not be banned in Standard. So lucky winner, but you still use it for Commander. It doesn't matter for our format at all.
Fabled Passage, the Great Henge,
Once Upon a Time,
Embercleave. It was a pretty solid box.
And then at the end of it, we took whoever didn't win a card or anything like that. We actually
they got the giveaway. They got Kenrith.
Yeah, Kenrith.
So somebody randomly got Kenrith as well out of the
non-winners.
Yeah,
but then you became a winner. We didn't get to use the Lucky Ducky again. I was kind of disappointed. You did it once, but you didn't even do Lucky Ducky. You said something else.
I said Lucky Ducky.
Was it Ducky?
Yeah, it was for sure Ducky.
Fire.
I've never lied in my life.
Okay, so I think that's everything. But you guys can, you can go to our normal places. Go to YouTube, follow us, or subscribe there. That's how you do it for free. Become a patron. You can get a part of the giveaways that we give away that we just talked about. Give away now. If I said it 3 times, it would have worked.
What is it, Beetlejuice?
Yeah. If I say it 3 times, does Red Hot Chili Peppers flea appear in our... No!
That would be awful.
His diaper's full!
Yeah, he has a lot of energy, and my kid is sleeping.
Okay, and then we have... What else we got? Oh, well...
You can always email us.
That's how we're getting... Part of this episode today is...
Yeah, for sure. Mike Soda sent us a nice... long list of ideas, and we're taking about half of them. Yeah.
2 of them on just this episode, so
we have one already prepped, and we decided not to squeeze it in because I'm not sure how well 2-hour episodes do. We could do that. We could become the Joe Rogan Experience and do like 3-4 hour podcasts and just have random conversations.
Fast Finance gets there a lot. Like this
2
week's
hours?
episode is like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was like, holy moly. It's good for me because I'm driving a lot. When I like coming here, it's an hour and change, hour 15, hour 20. So that's a good listen on the way here and to and from. Yeah, good story. So speaking of that, though, this episode we're actually going to have dickhead cards.
Yeah, so
dickhead cards.
And we kind of veered away from what some of them from what Mr. Soda thought.
So yeah, when you guys give suggestions, sometimes we'll use exactly what it is, or sometimes it triggers another idea, but
we'll tweak it a little bit
to make it fit for how we want to have a better discussion with it. And so we're just going to kind of discuss the top dickhead cards to use in Commander, not to use in Commander, really. I mean,
this could be a really bad episode. Like people were like, "Oh, those are good. Yeah. I need to play these more."
Our play group, please stop listening now, because a lot of us don't play with these cards.
Skip to minute 45.
Okay, and then we also have just the tips. So this is also Mike Soda.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about mana bases, 3-color and 5-color, and just kind of what we do on the regular.
And so, we'll go over that, and then we'll finish up with A&L question, which actually is from Trombley, kind of.
We were going to do it anyway.
The list, but then Trombley suggested it, and I was like,
cut this part.
Cut that part. Trombley, sorry, taking it back.
He won't even know because you cut that part.
Exactly. And this part. And this part.
Maybe. I feel like you're not going to cut this anymore.
I know I'm not. I love it when we keep saying cut it and then we don't actually. I'm like, well, I'm going to keep it in. All right. So should we actually jump into the episode? Or
was there anything else? Oh, we got a lot of notes. Yeah. Okay. So it was your son's birthday today, which means I gave you a pack for some reason.
Which my son opened up his present, and he pulled out the first thing, and what was it? I forget the first thing.
It was Black Panther. Like big bobblehead thing.
He's like, Daddy! Because I have like the magic ones and the Game of Thrones ones, the pop things. And he's like, this is for you. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy. And then he pulls out, the next one is like a Lego spinner thing, like a battle.
It was
thing,
Ninjago, Jago, but like you build up a platform and then you hit a lever and it goes out spinning.
And then I didn't see anything else come out. I even went over to the bag and looked in, and I was like, "Oh, the tradition stops with Drake at 5." And then I said it to you like, "Oh, I got it in the car." I was like, "Oh, yay!"
No, I had it down, at home. There was no point in bringing it, and then you might lose it.
Yeah, but the funny part is seeing them open magic cards like I did for little Lau's birthday. I was like, is this for Lau or is this for...
Even when that happened, I forgot about this. So I was like, oh, that's strange. So let's see what you get here.
All right.
Because I bought 3 packs along with this, and they were not good.
There's a foil. I got the Castle Green Brig. Which I have that one, and then the foil Enchanted Carriage.
Oh, that's not a good pack.
No, not like yours, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, no, I've done really well with the packs. Because last year I got a foil Red-Blue Shockland.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I've done pretty well for having one kid.
How about this? I go to the store, and I choose the pack and give it to myself.
That's how Christmas works.
Oh,
that's what I do. I go out shopping for everybody, and I buy.
You're like, thanks, Kay. Okay, let's actually jump into this episode.
What do you want? Dickhead cards first?
Yeah, let's start with the dicks. Oh, we're talking more dicks.
No, Sorry, number 2.
And Paul. Paul's kid, sorry.
Yeah. All your children listening. I don't know why.
We apologize to everybody if your kids listen, but
why are you doing that?
This is
not saying that you shouldn't, like,
spread the word, but if they don't like dicks, then sorry.
I would let them play with their iPad and put headphones on.
How about this? I'll bleep out all the dicks.
I mean, that's probably okay too, but that's a lot of bleeping. We could do that. That'd be
a lot of bleeps. All
like how we should. Okay, I don't know if we want to make it this
on our production meeting here.
Okay,
this is totally what we're doing right now.
I want one time where we up the swearing, but you bleep it every time. That's what, like, maybe we just planned on that.
Bleep
just
things that we aren't even swearing. I just start bleeping stuff where it's just like, why was there even a swear word in that part of that sentence? That doesn't even make sense. Because if people get curious, they're like, what did you say there? Because
I won't remember.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about, I was going to the store, and then, they didn't have my Rockstar, so I was really but then I bleep one of that, and it's like, why would you throw a swear word in there?
No, that's exactly what you. This is a long on air production. Yeah, but so, like, when you said Rockstar, bleep out the first part and have Ock, like Ockstar. So it makes it sound like you said a swear word, but it doesn't line up.
Is that Jimmy Kimmel that does that, or somebody does that?
I don't watch TV.
Well, I don't either, but I've heard the bits where they're inappropriate or improper bleeps. So they'll bleep something that isn't a swear word, but they cut out the word so it makes it look like they're swearing. So they bleep it where they didn't actually swear there, but they make it think like they're saying an actual swear word in that spot. It's pretty.
I'm all right with that.
All right, we're doing it this episode.
This one?
No, I'm just kidding.
Good luck.
We both cracked our knuckles in there.
We did.
Let's start with the head card. So going through the list, I know a big thing that we don't come across this as much, so I kind of want to get it out of the way, but like land destruction cards.
Yeah, for sure. And like
mass land destruction.
Some of this you'll hear as like the social contract of EDH or Commander, because there are cards that's just like, man, that's dickhead. This game is long, and it can be long, and if you are mass land destructing the entire table,
then it goes even longer.
That's way worse than Cyclonic Rift to make the game long.
Yeah, because Cyclonic, everybody they have their land still out, and they're just able to replay and do all that stuff.
Yeah. This is just like table's dead. Like, unless you have a way to get ahead.
To Fury's Protection and then playing Apocalypse after and then not having to win.
Yeah.
Like I did.
You did do that one time. But like, again, a couple months ago we talked about like Trombley has Armageddon in his Kalia deck. It sucks losing to it, but at least he's going to win more than likely.
Yeah.
Unless you just like, oh, I'm going to kill your Kalia before like you attack.
Yeah.
And you hope that they don't have a huge board presence type thing. But
I think the reason why we haven't, and you go to number 2's play group, they have a little bit more of an issue because I think Bill tends to play with more land destruction.
Yeah, he enjoys it, which is fine.
We just haven't come across where people have done that in ours, so I think that's why we aren't butthurt by it. Like it hasn't, and now it's going to because people are going to play with.
Yeah,
but I mean it's kind of like you said, it's a code with Magic is the mass land, because you hear it from a lot of groups saying mass land destruction sucks.
And so it's hard to really gain those resources back unless your deck is geared to do that. So like if somebody like
if you're just randomly throwing mass land destruction in your deck, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
But if you like you're saying, if you have a plan
with it,
and like you should be winning with this, like the example I just said with Teferi's Protection and Apocalypse, it's supposed to be you play Apocalypse, Teferi's Protection yourself. Yeah, you discard your hand, but you get to keep everything, and everybody else's board
just loses
gone.
Everything.
And so even if you have a little board presence at that point, you should be able to win the game because no one else is going to catch up to you.
Yeah, you should be able to win after that.
But if you're just going, all right, I'm playing red, and I'm going to throw this land destruction in here.
Jokulhaups or like, so some like. What are some of the cards on this list?
I didn't even write them down because I was just like,
two things like Bloodmoon, Back to Basics.
Yeah, I put those on here.
And like, there's a big long list of like mass land destruction, and we talked about Armageddon. I said Jokulhaups. And there are some higher casting ones. There's like Cataclysm.
And with Bloodmoon, everybody should pretty much know that. But like, same with Back to Basics, it's affecting the non-basic lands.
Yeah.
So if people are playing with basics, it still gives you a chance. It's not wiping out.
I think those are at least fairer.
Yeah.
Like,
but people get pissed.
Yeah, I don't have as big of a problem
because I play with basics. If you're not, I don't play with basics now because of Lowry. Taught me a lesson. You guys have.
And
heard that
I did a mass land. I did the Wave of Vitriol,
but it was going to find basics, and I was playing a 5-color deck.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that goes in with what we're talking about with this episode.
And I actually don't have any problem with like a Wave of Vitriol. Like, as long as you have the basics, you're kind of replenishing your land base. No problem with that. There's a red version of it for 4 as well that only does non-basic lands. That's from Commander Set.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of it. But I like that card. I think that's a lot more fair.
Yeah, because you're not wiping the board. You might be wiping somebody that doesn't play basics in their deck, then they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, then they need to learn to do that.
I learned.
Yeah. And then like another one that kind of just sucks on a combo thing, like if you're strip mining with a Crucible of Worlds on top of Exploration and like that's
Ramanap Excavator with
just bringing lands back from your graveyard and just continuing to machine gun lands. I think you're gonna catch the table's ire in that.
The thing about the strip mine though is it takes a little longer. You know, it's not everybody's land is gone. You're having to pick on one person.
And also again, people are gonna see that and they're just gonna go, oh, I think we need to stop this guy.
Yeah.
Because eventually, so it's at least fairer.
Yeah, but it's still a dickhead thing. I have it in my Gitrog deck. Any of the stuff that I'm playing my lands, I mean, it has to go in there for that.
So the one time where I think it's okay to mess with somebody's lands is if they're playing Gaea's Cradle.
No.
Yes.
No.
I do have that as a dickhead card.
No.
I have it as a dickhead card, but we can get there later.
No, it's actually another good list you can go to if you guys want to check this out is go to EDH Rec, and they have the saltiest and Gaea's Cradles in there.
Is it?
Yeah, it is in there.
So I just, right before this, Adam was like, oh, they have the saltiest list. I was like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I did not know that before I made this list, but our list came out pretty similar.
Yeah.
Would you finish your beer? I want to get on the next one.
Oh, I'm ready for the beer. I just chug it at the one when you're ready to get that one. I was ready. I didn't want to be dry sitting here.
All right. This is, we're moving on to the next one, but this one's going to be called Space Pope. This is from Cigar City.
Space Pope?
Yeah, this is an IPA.
Okay, so that was the land stuff. Was there anything else about lands you wanted to talk about?
No, but I hope people understand why they're dickhead cards. Like,
Let me taste this beer. It's a different taste from a sour.
Yeah, this is an IPA.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I actually like it. I just had to get the sour out of my mouth. Okay.
So I think just messing with people's lands, like, nobody complains when you're like, destroy all artifacts and their rocks go away. Mm-hmm. Like, that is hurting people's mana, but you're not, oh, you're such a dickhead, or I'm super salty. It's like, oh, that happens in a game.
Yeah.
But you just don't really want to accept, like, getting your lands blown up. Like, that's really hard because you can't just, like, bring them all back.
Yeah, it's, like you just said, Cyclonic Rift is kind of like this, but you're able to play your cards back, so it's not... If you play a Cyclonic Rift and don't have an answer, or like sometimes it is to save you, but then it makes the game go that much longer.
Yeah.
I would say jumping into the next kind of tier of stuff, I would go into like the stuff that stays tapped. So you have your Vorinclex, which is a hated card. I think we've had that as a kill on
sure,
site.
Yeah.
What that card does is your stuff stays tapped, or
your land stays tapped,
and the person that has Vorinclex, their lands are doubled. So
yeah,
stays tapped for one extra turn.
And just having
so you have the orbs, static, winter orb, all that stuff.
What are some others? I have like Stoic Angel. Do you know that one at all? It's like a 3/4 flyer in Pant, and then players can only untap one creature per turn. But it has vigilance and flying.
I think I do know that one. Yeah.
I like that one. Stasis. I think Stasis
that's
was
the
number one
saltiest.
On the
saltiest cards. And that's old school. I remember playing that when I first was starting, playing that with
Stasis
Doppelganger and everything like that.
Again, I don't know if I don't have a problem with these if you can break the symmetry, right? Number 2.
I like how you pointed at the computer. Number 2. I'm looking at you.
Don't send me a dictionary.
We've got 2 of them, right? 2 dictionaries. Number 2's a lawyer. He knows words. That's why
he knows words real good.
I stay with my low to medium words. You try to branch into those.
I try and sound smart,
words.
and then it back. Actually, I'd like to say I push my words, and I'm like, I hope I get away with this. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Then I fuck up easy ones like symmetry and asymmetrical. I don't know what my problem is sometimes.
Oh, we pointed that out. Now we're gonna get a lot of dictionary text.
I know.
Tweets.
I know. Another one. So Stasis is super dicky. Smoke is another enchantment. It's like 2 red. Players can only untap 1 creature per upkeep. So these cards, like I don't have a problem with them. Again, if you have something like Seedborn Muse or like a Bear Umbra or Sword of Feast and Famine to like untap lands and gain that advantage.
Have a plan with what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't. But most of the time, people don't. They just like.
This is a dick card. I'll put it in here.
So like I've played a couple of Mogus, the red black Gone, where it's just like you have to sacrifice a creature or pay 2 life, and then they're like, but also they're playing Winter Orb, Static Orb, and artifacts that just make it so you can't do anything either, and you're going to lose after 20 turns and just paying 2 life.
Yeah.
Like that blows. So those decks suck to play against.
What's the card you played with recently? And it just popped into my head, but you had a plan with it, so it was kind of nice. It's is it Mana Web or Mana something where you tap opponents when they tap mana, they have to tap all their mana.
That would be, it's Mana Web, and then there's the red enchantment as well.
Not Mana Flare. That one does.
No, that doubles land, everybody's land. But
you had a plan with that. What was the plan when you did? Because that was a recent deck that you had.
It was Xantia.
Yeah, so you were trying to make it so that people were having to use its ability to draw, or you were the only one.
Yeah, so in
Xantia,
what it was you have Xantia out, and then you have, let's say, Mana Web out. And so somebody taps a land to play a spell. They have to tap all of that, like that color of land, I think, or all their land. And so it's like, well, let's put it into my pool. What am I going to use it on? Mm-hmm. Anything left over,
you
use
something
on
that
Xantia.
shares the color of that mana. They have to tap
for that one.
That.
But the red enchantment is tap all the land.
Yeah.
So and then
I can see that being a dick card if you're just throwing it in there to be a dick.
Yeah,
that scared me.
But it can also, like, if you're trying to fight against like a counterspell deck, that forces them to tap out every time they want to play a spell.
Speaking of dick cards.
Counterspells, all of them. Just kidding.
Thank you. No,
I don't have
totally.
any problem. That was on my joke section of dick cards.
Hey, we didn't make a joke section.
I have a joke section. It was counterspells.
That's the only one.
No, there's one more.
What's the other one?
Oko. Such a dick card. Ruins every format he's in except for Commander, because we're the best.
Doesn't even affect us.
We're the best.
Bring those elks everywhere. It's funny to see all the memes and all that stuff going around.
It is funny.
It's like,
I do like
this
that.
Doesn't even affect us at all.
The meme that I saw was there's a game called Skyrim, and it was like I took one to the, like, an arrow to the knee. Mm-hmm. This is Magic's took an arrow to the knee, like 3/3 elk.
Gotcha.
So it was funny when I read it.
There was a couple of them.
Your dickhead card. So stacks slow a game down. Again, the games are already really long. So if you're looking to slow the game down further, you're just being a dickhead.
I would say the next step would be into the hindering on your casting and stuff. So like things like Void Winnower makes it so your opponents can't cast or block with even creatures.
Yeah.
Anything that taxes people playing cards.
I don't actually have a problem with those. You're talking about, like, I know we'll bring it up in the
Grand Arbiter.
The Grand Arbiter.
One that'll...
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
But they're dickhead cards.
Again, I don't have a problem with it. I wouldn't call it, like, dickhead cards to me are something that, like, I'm just like, oh, you're a fucker. So maybe these are fucker cards. You believe in these, right?
No, not necessarily.
Maybe we should bleep all these out.
Yeah, you see, when Trombley plays his Grand Arbiter, we're just like, oh, you fucker. Yeah, I guess fucker. You dickhead. Yeah.
I think there's a difference. I think it is a Grand card. We do have Grand Arbiter on there, so I think as a total for the tax part,
I was also
like
thinking
all of them being used, that sucks because it does slow the game down big time. So if you're doing like Thalia and
the one that got banned was the other one that was would have put on this list, the Angel, that
Iona.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was a dickhead card because you could lock somebody out of the game sometimes if you're
okay.
If they're we talked about that before, that most of the time you aren't playing one colors, but
so here's I did have this idea. I didn't write down any specific cards, but I didn't want to really write it down either. It's when somebody specifically metagames for you.
Yeah.
So like a strictly like a head card, I believe I want to say it's Anarchy. And it's 2 red, 2 colorless sorcery, destroy all I want to say planes.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just like obviously nobody's going to metagame against a mono white deck, but there are cards out like that, like Chill, that makes red spells. Yeah. Like when it's like this might affect people, but if somebody only has 1 or 2 decks and you're like, that guy, I'm gonna get them with these super corner case cards that I know only hurt that person. Like to me, it's at least a head move, because you're only hurting that player.
I would say when we were kids, Jake was manhandling us with his counterspell deck. So we would at least I would specifically try to make decks that was just dealing with this counterspell deck. But now it has. I mean, I've changed it to. That was when we were kids. Now it's more of. You shouldn't be building a deck to just go after a certain kind of deck or person. It should be
for sure. Yeah.
You should be able to win with that deck against everybody. And
you should have a wide range of ability. And if you're only going to... What if they didn't play that? You just have a dead card in hand.
And that's what I hate. I hate when things are specific to certain things because, like you just said, you don't want to get caught. I don't ever want to have a card in my hand that I can't use. Yeah. And if you have something...
I want that flexibility and being able to... And so if you know that you're just getting picked on, that sucks for that player. If they're... giggling, and they're like, ha ha ha, that's funny. All right, fine, you could do that, but I'd get frustrated after a couple games of that. And maybe that's what it is. Like, dickhead cards like frustrate the table. Yeah. And so this could be a really wide range of a deck, or just like idea.
The section of what we're talking about here, or a topic.
Because dickhead cards could be just something that's super prevalent that is hard to deal with. Like everybody's playing Cyclonic Rift.
Well, I have on here Sorin Markov is one of the dickhead cards because every time that comes out, somebody's life is 10. But it's actually a card that needs to get used because you got to get... if I'm in a black deck, I don't necessarily always put it in there, but it is an answer to somebody that goes infinite with life, or... just... sometimes it's just like an answer for that the person that's winning greatly, and you're like, okay, let's bring it down with me. Again, so like I would say that these cards are way different than game winners. Yeah. Like Sorin in my mind is like close to a game winner. It's like put you to 10, attack you for 15 and get that much through and just end the game right there. One person down to 10 though.
But if you can protect it and all that stuff, you could do it again. So like I think the list is different from game winners.
Because you could have, I think when Mike Soto was kind of just brainstorming some of this stuff, he even threw in there like Craterhoof or something like, and I was like, well, Craterhoof is actually a game winner. That's a lot of the game winners that if I'm trying to look for one thing with green, I've talked about it before. Craterhoof is something. Another one that I have that I know that maybe I did take it off of there. Oh, because it was a game winner. That's why I took it off. Was Triumph of the Hordes. But it's
I agree. That's a game winner.
It's poison, but it's a game winner. It does a similar thing that Crater
we'll talk about. I think poison's a dickhead deck. Specifically,
if you're just doing a poison deck.
I think if you're just a poison deck, that's a dickhead move. Why? Do you think it's because I don't like poison? Yes. No, I don't have a I have a problem with poison as well. Like but the reason why it's a dickhead thing is oftentimes that it's like a really fast aggro deck, and then they burn out. So you get one player really quick, and then oftentimes you're not strong enough to deal with the rest of the table, especially since you haven't dealt with them until that player's dead. So one person's out, and the rest of the game is happening, and that person's sitting out for at least an hour.
See, and that's why
I was just like, that's dickhead. And because you're not going to win with poison unless you're whole table like Triumph of the Horde.
What I do with
or Nekasar.
Nekasar.
Yeah.
You give Nekasar Infect, and then you make everybody draw 10 cards, and everybody's dead.
That type of poison I don't have a problem with, but when it's like
over. But when it
an
kills
aggro,
one person and that person sits for 4 hours while everybody else is...
That's what you got to understand. Like, if your poison deck has a person sitting for hours, change your deck. Because that person, it sucks for that person.
Yeah.
And then if you're able to win quickly, you got to gauge where it is there too. Like if you're able to get the other players, but I
don't have as big of a problem with poison, but I totally agree with what you're saying that if your deck is based off of wiping out one player and not being able to handle
the table,
then
that's a dickhead idea.
Yeah, you need to change it up unless you're planning. Yeah, you need to be able to wipe everybody out.
So I have my buddy Nick. We've brought him up a couple times, but he had a Shu Yun deck that's red, white, blue.
Ugh.
And you know the deck I'm talking about.
Because he went after me with that deck.
Yeah,
he
but
focused just on me, and it didn't matter what the rest of the table was doing. It was
because that's what that deck does. Yeah. It was called. He called it One Punch Man because all he could do was just one punch one person, just go boom, 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 double strike, you're dead.
Oh, he lost his shit because I was playing my Animar deck, which. Yeah, my Animar deck with real cards in it was like $1,000, and that's what he kept bringing. Oh, my $30 deck beat your $1,000 deck. I was like, well, they're all proxies, so really my deck's cheaper than your deck, fucker.
No, so but like that's the whole point. That's the whole thing. Like
Can you tell him better?
He was a dickhead to you, and you're not happy about it. But that's what that deck was based off of doing. And so
So he wiped me out, and then the game went for about an hour and a half.
And we just ignored him because his hand was empty.
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything. I killed Shu Yun a couple times just going like, I don't want to really worry about it. And he did not win that game.
Yeah. And
he didn't have a chance.
Proceeded to go do other things for an hour and a half.
You went and swept?
Yeah. Actually, I think I went upstairs and talked to my wife. I was like, I just got wiped out in like the first, 10 minutes of this game. They've been playing for an hour and a half now.
And so, like, that's... You need to be a little cognizant of what the table, what's happening at the table. So
and I guess it kind of goes into your play group too. I guess a little bit. I guess as our play group, we don't do the whole wipe out somebody as fast as possible. It normally is spreading the damage around.
Yeah, and if somebody's not coming out, you kind of just like keep them even, but you're not killing them because they're not doing anything.
And you try to keep everybody in the game for as long as possible because it does suck. Unless there's more games going on, if we have multiple groups,
a couple,
then they can jump onto that one. But all right, now we're kind of getting to a different topic. With it.
Play group. What's another one?
Let's kind of move quicker on this because we are already half hour into this.
No, fuck that.
Well, no, I'm just. I only have I did the Praetors on mine. Well, you said Praetors. I started actually.
Yeah, sure. You went Vorinclex. Do you think? I don't know if I don't hate Elish Norn. I don't dislike the.
Can be tough though.
Red, black, and white. I don't have a problem with. Blue and green.
Blue is definitely.
Jin Gataxius, where you're drawing 7 cards and they're all discarding their hand. That's dickhead.
I'd say those two are a top tier, and I put white kind of in a middle tier. Elish, I like it. I guess it's not a dickhead. It does wipe out. It
speeds the game up. It
confuses the shit out of people. Like we forget about it. We've done that where I was like, all right, I'm bringing back this, and then we're like moving on to the next turn, and I was like, oh no, dude, Elish
that's
Norn's
dead.
out.
That's
it's
dead.
already been dead.
Yeah, it's gone.
You couldn't do what you thought you just did. Like, shit.
I was like, can I redo? Yeah, so like
that's why we gotta make a digi token for it.
Digitoken.
Oh, gotta write that down.
So I don't have a problem with 3 of the 5, but Vorinclex and Jin Gataxius those ones are sick.
Yeah.
Shieldred can be oppressive,
but I don't
have a problem with it.
One creature a turn, they're bringing back a creature. It's not.
It's a swing and it's good.
Yeah.
But it
normally gets killed right away when it comes out.
It can be. Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you have on your list? I think I've pretty much used up my list before we get into. We'll do maybe.
Okay, so this one I don't see at all, and thank God, and hopefully people don't start playing it. So this is you can't play your commander cards. These cards are dickhead
I forgot
cards.
I added one in here.
So Nevermore. is an example. And when that enchantment comes into play, you name a card. That card cannot be played. You name their commander.
Then they're done.
And
then
they're
that's picking on one person again.
Yeah. And so that sucks. And so similar things, Declaration of Naught would counterspell for a blue, essentially an enchantment.
Willow Satyr, which
that's a different part.
It's stealing, I guess, yeah.
Meddling Mage, Voidstone Gargoyle, and then Null Chamber is kind of at least an interesting one. So it's more fair, except for when you're playing dickhead
What does that
ones.
one do?
Null Chamber is 4 mana white enchantment, and when it comes into play, you name a card, and target player can't play that card, and then they name a card, and you can't play that card.
Hell yeah.
But you or another player can't play that card. So you could be like, I'm going to name your commander, and they're like, well, I'm going to name that guy's commander because I put it in Derevi, where you just pay green, white, blue, colorless, and put it into play. You're not casting it, so you get around that clause. So you. But other than that, it's super dickhead. I've only played that once. So when you play
that deck, I will be playing...
I killed it a couple years ago.
I was going to play Yuriko at that point.
So I did play that, and it sucked because I was playing against Mark, and it was the first time he was playing Scarab God deck. And I was like, Scarab God. He's like... Well, that fucking sucks.
I'm not even playing.
He's like, I'm going to name yours. I was like, you could name his. He's like, no, I'm going to name yours. I was like, it's not going to do anything. He's like, I don't care. So they're just dickhead cards. Like, let people play their commanders, even if they're good.
Yeah. Well, don't lock them out. I mean,
and there are some cards that get around it. Yeah. So find other ways.
Yeah. All right, and then like I said, with Willow Satyr, what else? Do you have
stealing cards. Some people really dislike stealing.
Yeah,
like your
that's
cards.
almost more. That would get people pissed off than anything with stealing cards. Just being able to have their card pisses people off quite a bit.
And you said Willow Satyr, and that's just, it's a Legends card. It's kind of expensive now, but it's tap, steal a Legend. There is a blue Merfolk from Judgment, I believe, that also does it. Mm-hmm. I talked about it back in my Humana deck because I do have it in there, and that steals fucking Planeswalkers too.
I would also put in there, well, not for Planeswalkers, but just in general, send triplets.
Okay, so you're stealing from our commander dickheads.
Well, because I don't think we discussed, we already had kind of a dickhead. We weren't going to actually do this list then. We might just go over it, but yeah, for sure, send triplets. Because that one's just you're playing somebody's hand on each of your turns. Mm-hmm. On your turn, you get to
you're going to do your ramp and then play their
take
stuff.
Somebody's turn.
For sure.
So it's kind of a dickhead thing, and that's why I don't play that deck
anymore.
I
think probably, in my opinion, my favorite one.
Oh man,
but maybe
you're a dick.
I am. Bribery.
I have to. Okay.
What?
No,
you're stomping on my touchdown call.
It is a dickhead. That is a dick. Actually, I wanted that one.
So you get to go and steal a creature from somebody's library and put it into play under your control for 5 mana.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And Acquire is for artifacts, which is also a great card. It's a lot cheaper.
That's a little more fair because then you're always going to get a Soul Ring.
No, you're going to go get a Blightsteel Colossus when that dickhead's playing it. So you're going to be a dickhead play it way before they.
I just think it's funny, and this is just kind of. Maybe this is an off-air thing or not. We just got the text about saying that we talked about dick so much, and the next episode is talking about dick.
Yeah.
That's all we've been saying is...
You should bleep this. Let it do it once and then bleep them all.
Oh, this is pretty funny.
I think we should do that. Yeah.
We just picked this out and we're like,
I'm sorry.
Love you. What's our
That's
next
a really good point. We're saying dick a lot.
Yeah, I know. Because you were saying every other word, every other sentence was dick. Dickhead, dickhead.
So this one, having the next one, we're splitting these. Gaea Lie. This was the first one I had. This is also from Cigar City. I bought it like a 12-pack, so I for sure didn't get through these because I was cruising through stuff. So this is also an IPA, highly regarded.
Has an interesting smell to it. I think it's my least favorite. I like the other one a little better.
Yeah, this one's a bit stronger than the Space Pope, but this one's still pretty solid.
You like my description of stuff? It just goes by favorite. Like I don't even go, no, this tastes...
I'm going to rank this one higher
this is
or lower.
Hoppy? Am I saying it right, Lowry? Bitter? No, that's not right. Okay. What else we got? Because we should move on to our next list.
No, I got specific cards.
I have a lot of bleeping to do here. I'm not looking forward to it.
Okay, so I think Narset Parter of Veils is pretty bad for the static ability of opponents can't draw more than one card per turn. So, like, this is...
Yeah, but you typically... Well, like we just said, if you're just putting in a deck to put it in a deck...
I think this one's fine, but if you gear your deck around this, like... if you put this in...
Oh, so this is one you're doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Where if you gear your deck towards it...
This can be really oppressive. This is like Leovold.
Yeah.
Leovold is banned as a commander and in Commander because it's the same ability.
Yeah.
This can't be your commander because it's a planeswalker, but it's still incredibly powerful when you put it down, even if you're not gearing, actually. Like, but if you put in this deck with like Howling Mine, Font of Mythos. I'm drunk. And just cards that like Kami of the Crescent Moon, like cards that just, hey, everybody gets to draw a ton of cards.
No, you
almost like Nekasar, but you still in Nekasar you want those players drawing it, so it's not quite good there. But
well, yeah, I mean Nekasar you can do it in different ways. Actually, with my Nekasar deck, I have all angles with that. Where the point is to kill everybody at some point by everybody drawing cards and damage or poison. But then I also do have those cards in there where it's if I need the cards in that situation that I am oppressing something. That Thief of whatever, it's the one that has
Black Boot, 2 colorless flash, 3/2,
and it has
something.
What is it, haunting or no?
No, it doesn't have haunt, but it
goes on a creature, doesn't it?
Oh, you're talking about Whispers of Madness, I believe. That's a sorcery.
Is that the one? Yeah, it might be. Or but
you're talking about the thief. Yeah,
the thief.
But the thief is whenever an opponent draws a card, you draw that many cards instead.
Yeah. So you play that with Nekasar, you draw the cards, you get the advantage. Or I think I also
not taking the damage.
I think I did also throw in the alt win con with Nekasar by having the whatchamacallit, Laboratory Maniac.
Did you put new Jason there? You probably haven't even changed anything.
Nope, haven't changed that in a while.
Okay, so another one. I think Sire of Insanity.
Yeah,
it's pretty brutal.
Discard your cards.
No, at end of turn. At end of every turn, everybody discards their hand.
Yeah, that one's pretty brutal.
That one is dickhead.
I loved that one.
And I actually just took, like, I went through, made this list, and I was going through Xantra, and I was like, this is pretty dickhead. Yeah. Pulled it out.
No, so the thing with that card and the deck that I love it in is, you know what deck that is?
Which one?
It's the whatchamacallit, dude, where I play from the bottom of the library.
Grenzo?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So it works perfect in Grenzo because I'm discarding my hand into my graveyard. And then I have cards that put a graveyard on the bottom. So I'm getting everybody at the same time, but then I'm playing off of my graveyard.
No, that card's brutal.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
We said Praetors. A little interaction, I would say. Ajani Steadfast and Doubling Season. So Ajani Steadfast, Ultimates... And then with Doubling Season, when you ultimate, every point of damage that's dealt to them, like from a source, is reduced down to 1.
Yeah, we've had that
forever. Like it's impossible essentially to kill that person.
You have to have that's a 2-card thing.
Cards again, well, it's similar to like Strip Mine, Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah,
there are dickhead. It's like a dickhead thing that I kind of saw. Like it's one of the not winning outright the game, but it's like you basically won.
That happened recently in the last.
Yeah, Zach had it last year.
We're just like, okay, well, we can't really.
we played it out until like it was down to me and him, and I was just like, I can't get past your 15/15 Atraxa because you're going to gain that much life. It's not worth me attacking with 3/1/1s. Like, it's dumb.
That's where poison comes in.
I didn't have the board state. That wasn't going to happen. And then I alluded to it earlier. Gaea's Cradle, dickhead.
No.
Why is it a dickhead?
The greatest card in the world.
I think it comes down to
it's such a big mana advantage.
It's so big of an advantage, and it's so hard to have because of price point. If it was more frequent, like if people could get their hands on it, and it was like. If it was like $100, it wouldn't be nearly as salty. Why
didn't you pick it up then, Lowry?
Because I was homeless. Not literally. I just lived in my dad's home and couldn't afford anything.
All he carried around was a box of Magic cards with him.
Now I just look homeless. But yeah, like I think it's that price differential, and it's a bit of a pedestal as well. Like dual lands are expensive, but they're not salty. You're just like, okay, you're playing with money here. Cradle is just like the huge advantage, and you're just like, all right, fuck this guy. That's how I see it, and that's
why Lowry plays strictly hate cards for Gaea's Cradle.
Not strictly, but I do. When I pick my removal, I make sure that I have stuff that can deal with lands, because that
specifically Gaea's Cradle.
For that reason, yes. But Cradle is probably the only downside with our proxy rule, in my opinion.
Because I'm the only one that has it.
You're the only one that has it, and you put it in every green deck.
Pretty much.
I just thank God that you don't tutor for it.
No, because I got rid of the tutors.
Well, I mean, you could have like crop rotation, sacrifice a land, put Gaia's Cradle into play from your graveyard or like from your library, or you could do that kind of thing.
You know what you could do, which I forgot to mention in the beginning?
What?
Dollar to duels and dollar to Gaea's Cradle.
Is that what you want to do?
I do want to give a little update with that dollar to duels in the middle of this, but I have continued that. I'll call it level 2 on about 4 cards. I think one is Archfiend of Ifnir.
Yeah.
One is Oath of Nissa, which actually one of our listeners, I forget who it was, somebody else was mentioning. It might have been Bill or Besh or somebody was mentioning Oath of Nissa as one of their dollar to duels.
Was it? When was that though?
What?
Because since then, I believe it's been banned.
Now Pioneer. It's been banned. Yeah, so I sold it before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little spike.
Yeah. So I got that, and what else did I get? Oh, Treasure Cruise. Treasure Cruises. I bought those for 50 cents. So that's a recent one. I've spec'd on it just
Foils,
recently.
50 cent, up to $5
right now. So.
Okay.
That's a little update with it. I am continuing that. I'm going to kind of try to figure out a graph of some sort to kind of keep track of it. But anyways, back to this. You could do dollar to Gaea's Cradle, Lowry. You still need a couple duels. So let's do dollar to duels,
Can you just do like a long beep there with my paws? No. I mean, I'm just not that aggressive. I don't care enough. Other than I'm just going to
You're just going to complain about it all the time.
Yeah. Why not?
All right, let's move.
You stole it from me. I was just a child.
It's just a child. I was just as much a child as you were.
No, you're a year older child.
I knew it at that time. I was like, this fucker's going
Your brain was more developed than mine.
Still is.
Ouch.
All right.
That's because I drink more than you.
Rest of your list? Because
I'm good.
Do a one
good.
segment.
I'm good.
All right. Do we want to just... we'll move the mana fixing for next week because we did talk about it that we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we're
you just cut that part too.
Yeah, but I
cut everything.
Cut it.
Just beep that part.
Beep. What did he talk about there? I don't know what they were going to talk about.
That would be great.
Actually. But what about my description? I'll just start cutting out words here and there with it. This episode's just gonna be called beep. I think it'll get turned off because people are like, "This hurts my ears."
Have it low level.
Okay, so a couple of the dickhead commanders.
Yeah, we're gonna move into that. We're changing it because we are getting a little long.
That's what she said. I wish.
I wish.
Gaddock Teague is one that Larry had mentioned earlier.
Did I?
Yeah, you mentioned Gaddock Teague along with the other gal, the white and blue girl.
Lavinia Azorius Renegade? No, yeah. that was
that's when we were just talking.
That was when we were chit-chatting.
Pre-podcast.
Okay, so Gaddock Teague is...
Well, I mean, it's kind of like...
I don't personally have a problem with it, but I think some people do because it doesn't allow you to play your spells.
Yeah.
Anything of 4 or more mana that's a non-creature spell... you can't play it when Gaddock Teague is in play, and then also X spells are turned off. So you tune your deck to be so this doesn't hit you at all and no effect. This shuts off, makes it so people can't play Planeswalkers. Wraths become pretty tough to play. This can really slow down a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And I can see why people get frustrated with it. I just hope that your deck is tuned enough to kind of start being aggressive along with it.
I think the hard part with Gaddock Teague though is it's a 2-drop, which happens
for sure. As a commander, it's 2-drop. Okay, I'm going to kill it. All right, 4-drop before you're even playing those 4.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to deal with. It's a taxing thing that comes out pretty damn early. I have on here Brea. Just because Brea is so...
Oh, the artifact one?
Yeah. Every time you play that card, it's so... not oppressive, but man, that card can do so much, and it's hard to deal with. And that's where my list kind of turned into... cards
what do you
I hate instead of dickhead cards. So I just was like, okay, Brea's pretty difficult. I actually put Rashmi, my commander, this guy on there because I'm playing on other people's turns. And so
your specific deck, I would agree, is a dickhead. Well, so we did talk about before this, like talking about like an annoying list as well, like annoying cards. I would put Rashmi more in annoying.
Yeah, because and the last time I played it not last time. No, we did play it recently because I was like, I gotta get
back
a win.
Back in the spring.
Yeah, but when I played it a couple of years ago, when it was me, you, Trombley, and Ryan Grant, when we played with Ryan Grant, and I was playing on all of your guys' turns, and I could just see all you guys just rolling your eyes, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to play this deck very much. It's fun.
You know what? Maybe taking turns is dickhead.
Taking people's turns.
Yeah, taking turns.
Extra turns is fine, but if you're doing it everybody's turn.
So, like, I've told the story in the past, but, like, I had my Narset Enlightened Master deck where, like, I attacked, took extra turns, did extra attack steps, and you and Tyson just, oh, my God, are you done yet?
Yeah.
No, still going. Ugh, oh, my God. And I just was like, oh, no, I got 3 more turns left. Oh, 4. No, down to 2. Like,
I guess
that sucks
to
play
what it
against.
Comes down to is if you think about it, the longer that you make your turn last is the annoying part, because the thing is, Commander's already a long game, and when you get to late games, it takes like a half an hour to get back to you. If you have somebody that's taking 3 times, 4 times longer, then you're sitting for that much longer, and it just gets boring at that point. So I guess that's how we can kind of determine it. Freaking Rashmi, that's how it was, because you'd play your turn, I'm going to play on your turn at the end of your turn. All right, now you can go. I'm at the end of everybody's turn. I was telling that person that they
instead
can go.
of going that player's turn, going go.
It's like,
you're
like, now it's my turn again.
Go. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I admit Rashmi.
So should we put like Lighthouse Chronologist in there?
You
know what that one?
Yeah,
I mean, you have to
get them up there.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Fuck that, because it's...
I've never seen it really happen because it always gets killed.
Yeah, because you need like 7 level up, and then by the time it's like 5, you're just like, okay, kill it.
You're dead.
Kill it.
Make them think they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's going to happen. All right, about to say my turn. Oh, fuck, it's dead.
Let them at least get a half chub on there.
Oh, I think we've ramped up the swearing in this episode.
Maybe. Well, we're saying dick a lot. I can't wait until we get to A&L questions.
I put Vial Smasher. A lot of people have a problem with Vial Smasher.
Really?
I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of people do with decks and stuff, because it can be built so brutal, and you have a pretty strong one.
I took that apart.
I think
it was only brutal because it randomly hit you 8 turns in a row.
Yeah, right. And it isn't like my app where I'm flipping a coin and the coin hits tails every single time.
I was just like rolling dice from like even or odd, you choose, and he kept on choosing wrong. and then I flipped it over, and he kept choosing right.
It was a game that I wasn't doing, and it was a game that I was monastered.
I would much rather hit Krenko than Arcades that did nothing. Like.
I also had Zur on here because Zur can be very oppressive. You go search for your 3 enchantment, and
boom. Zur is more of like that stacks tax type thing. Like you're just stopping people from doing stuff.
Yeah, and so it's Zur the Enchanter. You guys don't know what it is. You go search for, what is it, tap, or is when he attacks?
When he attacks.
When he attacks, you go search for an enchantment that costs 3 or less, right?
Yes,
and put it directly into play
before like damage is ever dealt, so you can like protect it before it's blocked. I will say you can build it other ways though, but even so, it just has that reputation. So like over on CMD Tower, they built a Zur deck that has that's focused on cycling. It's like that's a nice twist, but you'll never survive.
See your Zur, and even though you say that it does this, they're gonna kill it.
So those commanders that have the reputation of being dickheads, like people are just like, no.
And I didn't put this on the list, but going with Zur on that, what you were just saying there, seeing the commander, Atraxa could be kind of plopped into this, because you see that, and it isn't like oppressive. It's not a dickhead, but most of the time you're dealing with counters, and it's people just.
I think part of it too is that it's really prevalent. It's almost in every play group, right? Everybody, because it can be built many different ways. And so at least somebody in your play group has it. And then you go to a different one, and it's always really good just because Atrax is a really good card.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you build the synergies in there, it becomes a really good deck. And then you're like, oh, you go to a different play group, and you're like, oh, you have an Atrax deck? Probably good.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that... I don't have a problem with it, but I can see where people key on you for that.
I would think another along the same lines as Sliver. Like you go with a Sliver Hive Lord or Sliver Legion. When you see Sliver decks, you typically are like, all right, this has to die if they start going because you can't stop them once the Slivers get going. So I kind of would say of the tribal decks, that is the one that gets picked on. I know when we play against Slivers, it's probably the first one we try to kill.
So if there's a deck, Trombley has a Sliver Hive Lord that makes all Slivers indestructible. Mm-hmm. That deck alone has probably made me switch what cards I put in. Play. No, what cards I put into decks. Probably the most out of anything because it is just so hard to deal with. Like I just didn't play with enough exile effects. Mm-hmm. And so that just made me be more conscious of like, you know what, I do need to use Swords to Plowshare
instead of
and Path to Exile
stuff. You need to have removal in there.
And so that just has made me more conscious of that kind of thing. I picked up, there's a couple of cards that exile all creatures. I at least have them in my collection now. I would agree. So hats off to you, Trombley, for making me change.
Making you change, like I changed with the basic lands.
Once something happens to you, like I don't have enough stuff to deal with this.
I would say actually, I want to see more if the Sliver players play with the Modern Horizons Sliver. I think that would be a lot more cool. Like random, like if you saw that in play, would you go after that Sliver player as much? No. Because the Cascade, it's like it's a random effect. You'll see you're hoping to get something good. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Stop. I like that idea, but that's a more of our play by us taking the tutors out. I feel like that fits our play style a little bit better than the other two Slivers. They won't be as powerful, I don't think.
Yeah, I actually don't have as big a problem with Sliver Legion that gives +1/+1 to each Sliver for the amount of Slivers that are in play.
That can get crazy.
Yeah, but that's a game ender in my mind.
Yeah. Indestructible is pretty brutal, though.
Yeah, that's just so hard to deal with when it comes to everyone. Mm-hmm. And you need to consistently be able to have an answer. Okay. So, yeah.
Some of yours that you have on the list. Because I had already, we already talked about Send Triplets, and we talked about Grand Arbiter.
Did we talk about Lavinia? We did with Armageddon. Okay, so I went with Eminence. So that's when they're in the command zone, and they still have an effect.
Have Eminence that before Eminence existed.
Yeah,
so
like a Loro.
Yeah, that one.
A Loro, and for me, Ur-Dragon and Soren Markov.
Soren's brutal.
Because, like, for me, they're a ley line every game. They just gain that advantage for just having that commander. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's either you're gaining 2 life each upkeep. By the time anybody's even able to do any relevant damage, you're at 50.
Yeah, exactly.
You
well, I don't say relevant damage. I guess 5 turns in, but you build a Loro like we build a Loro, make it an enchantment, make it so nobody can attack you. Deck.
Yeah, or just even life gain. Like it's just frustrating. You're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I just if there are enough people that haven't played against it or don't really care about life gain, then it's like, oh. Instead of 50, you're at 60 because nobody cares. And it's like, man, all right, you're at 50% more life than what we started with. I will
counter that by saying it depends. Those are the decks I build for when I'm trying to teach somebody to play Magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's giving them an advantage so that they don't have to work as hard. So that's typically how. Remember, we built a Laurel. We rebuilt our Laurel deck for our friend Justin, because we were coming up to Lutzen for Guys Weekend. We're like, all right, let's build this deck so that he can play it and compete. Same thing now that I don't have a Laurel, or I don't know if I've killed.
You have Soren Markov, though.
But I have Soren, and that one's built for beginners as well. Not beginners, it's a good deck, but it's made so that they're right in the mix and can win the game just as easily as people that have been playing Commander for years and years and years. So I guess I actually don't play with Edgar ever, but it's always I build it for the person, like somebody that's just starting out. So I guess it depends on your play group again. Keeps going with that. But I see it because that's probably why I don't play it, because I can see it being pretty damn brutal.
And all I'm saying is, like, it's a dickhead thing because, like, you gain that advantage and there's no way to interact with it. Like, there just isn't a way. You can't do anything against them.
At least with Edgar, you have to cast vampires. With Oloro, you
have
don't
to have vampires
anything.
in your vampire deck.
But Oloro, you don't have to do anything, and you're just gaining life.
Sure. And Ur-Dragon...
Ur-Dragon's a little more difficult, though. I mean, it gets out, and then it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't... It's just like you're playing a 5-mana dragon at turn 4.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing a 4/4 flyer on turn... Probably 3. Like, that's doing pretty solid, and you're going to be able to start... You're doing that consistently.
But I think when he's really brutal is when he's out.
When he hits, then it's even crazier.
When he's in
I think
play.
But just, like, it's really hard to deal with 5 flyers by turn 7. And you're like, oh, that's a board state right there.
I think...
And, that just... It lowers the curve for dragons.
I guess yeah.
And you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. You just can't do anything about it.
You can steal it.
Which was on our list of dickhead things to do.
That commander is the one out of the bunch that needs to come into play. You know, like that
I don't think
one
it needs to.
But no, just like
but
the
when it does, it's
advantage
crazy.
of it is so much better than the other ones. You know, like Edgar's, it's like, why are you playing Edgar? Like whenever somebody see playing Edgar, I'm like, don't,
because you ran out of cards.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much it.
Edgar doesn't really have a really.
He doesn't
good
have
benefit.
to be. He's better in the command zone as long as you're drawing enough cards. Is there something else on mine? Oh yeah. Okay. So cheating the commander tax. That's the other dickhead thing.
What?
You know what I'm talking about?
Eureka!
Yo, Eureka! You're
Why do you hate my good decks?
Just saying it's a dickhead card because it's getting around what everybody else has to do. Very similar to the Eminence idea.
Make a list and you go, the decks that Adam's good decks are they're just bad.
Nope. Actually, I have the first one that I thought of was Derevi because that's again. Green, white, blue, colorless comes into play.
Yeah.
You're not casting it. It just comes into play, and then you get to tap or untap target permanent. That card is crazy, and that's played in stacks decks. So everybody else's stuff is tapped, stays tapped, untap your stuff with that ability. Like, Derevi is dumb. Like, it doesn't matter how you kill it, as long as somebody has 4 mana open with that.
I can agree with that, but Eureka's awesome.
And Eureka is also a dickhead card because you just can't. It's really, really hard to deal with. And we talked about cards that could deal with this.
You have
a couple episodes ago.
Some of your decks to have those in them to deal with Eureka.
With Eureka, because nobody else plays Derevi.
Oh, so Eureka made you change a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit. No, it absolutely did. Like, Imprison in the Moon is a really solid card. And so you just need to be able to adjust and make sure that if there's cards you need to deal with, that getting them into the graveyard or having them in the command zone just doesn't do anything. You need to adjust.
Yeah.
So
I love Eureka though.
And then another one is like Carador. You probably haven't even played against a Carador deck, have you?
I don't even know what Carador is.
His mana cost reduces by 1 for each creature in the graveyard. In your graveyard. Green, white, black. And then it's 5. And then you
was
get
that from the original? The dude with the ghosts that are all around him?
Ghost Chieftain.
Yeah, okay.
And then he can cast 1 creature from the graveyard per.
Somebody was just tweeting about a combo with him this week. I don't know.
There's plenty of combos.
No, but it was just this week. That's why it popped up in my head because I just saw a tweet this week about. Oh, I don't even know why I just brought it up because I'm not even remember the combo. So let's just move on.
There is a combo with that commander. So I'm just saying, like, stuff that is cheating the commander tax when other people have to deal with it. Kind of dickhead.
I don't see him as bad.
Carador is the least bad. Derevi and Eureka are stupid.
No.
They should have to...
Just call my decks dumb. Why do you do this, Lowry?
I had a Derevi deck. I'm calling my deck dumb.
You had a Derevi deck.
Yeah, I got rid of it because it was also not good. I didn't like it.
The truth comes out.
I'm just mad at it. It's a dickhead because it didn't work.
All right, is that it on your list for...
Yeah, we talked about Lavinia in the dickhead cards.
You know, one card that kind of was almost making my list, but I didn't put it in there was Skullbriar, because it was just like, you can't deal with its damn counters.
That's not true, though.
What?
You can bounce it back to their hand.
Oh, well.
And then it gets rid of the counters.
But him moving from zone to zone to zone to zone, I was just like, God dang it, that dude. and then he's a one-shotter at some point.
That was Grant's deck that, yeah.
It could be made a very dickhead. Well,
I don't have
because it would go after one person.
Yeah, that's one of those combo ideas. So that falls into the poison idea of just like going after one player and then knocking them out, and then it's like, I can't do anything else. I got my thing done. I quit. Going home.
I quit. All right, do we want to move into A&L question?
Sounds good to me. Look,
all right.
I like this adjustment.
Yeah, that was good. An hour and 10 minutes. We talk a lot. Why are you swearing?
I don't know. I don't have a fourth one.
Oh.
So Mount Rushmore has 4.
Mount Rushmore has 4. Can I borrow one to you?
No. We got George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson.
They're not.
And randomly Teddy Roosevelt. Because he put the money towards it. He's like, you better put my face up here. You bitches. Better.
All right. So do you want me to start then, and maybe it triggers something?
Sure.
Okay. So my list is kind of interesting.
You're in order though too, right?
Yeah,
I am not. I am not in order.
So my number 4, and this just recently made it on my list, is Tool. Has kind of
really.
I wasn't into Tool until recently.
When we went to the concert or after?
I knew some like Schism has always been one of my favorite videos of all time. Not of all time, but it's a freaking crazy video, and it's like 7-8 minutes long. But actually, it wasn't until their new album was coming out that because they released all their albums finally on iTunes. Before, the only way I could listen to it was buying a CD. But who buys CDs anymore? Except for you, and you literally have a closet full. So you couldn't buy it on iTunes. So I would only be able to listen to it by YouTube, and so I really wasn't whatever. I knew a lot of the songs. That's why I was really disappointed with myself. The one song that you sang, and I couldn't. Wasn't it The Pot?
The Pot, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't name it because I was hungover. I think is what it was.
What? Oh,
that was a hungover day.
Might as well just make excuses.
But anyways, so I downloaded all the songs that I knew. So probably like 15 or so songs. And since I've been building my house, that's what I listen to when I'm done listening to my either morning show or any of the other podcasts and stuff. They just fucking rock. It's cool.
For me, like when we're working or just me working, I'm in an empty house. I can't hear the words. There's too much like echo. And so like talk radio is just out. I can't do that. And I would agree, Tool is really good when it comes to like there's not a ton of singing and you kind of know like it's not super intricate. Like rap's a little hard to listen to because it's much more upbeat, fast. Like Tool is just really methodical, really intricate, and you don't have to be there. It's more chill music. Well, and so for me, like I agree. I think I own one Tool CD.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I haven't. I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just agreeing with you.
I'm disagreeing.
I'm disagreeing. No, I'm just agreeing with you.
The thing about what I actually really like about their music is that they have a lot of different. Let me back this up a little bit. With music, I like when songs don't just have like the same tempo going through the whole song.
Yeah, okay.
One of my favorite things is when a song will come down and then really ramp up. Like there's
crescendo.
There's quite a few of them on.
There we go, crescendo.
Fighter songs. There's some against machine songs that just.
Did you just spoil your list right there?
Did, Jesus. Whoops. Gonna cut those out.
Beep, beep, beep.
But they do a lot of tempo changes where you think the song's about like a normal song is over. And of course, their songs are like 7 to 10 minutes long.
Sure, they are.
So you're like, all right, this would be when a normal song ends. And then they ramp into another tempo and it goes up and down. freaking, it's awesome. Like there's just so many songs that do that with them. So that's kind of why they've jumped into my number 4. Number 3 is one from high school.
We're not going back and forth?
No, I was going to give you some more time. So I was going to go 3, 2, 1.
No, I'm not thinking about anything.
No. Do you
other
want to
than
do
what
a
you're
4?
doing? No, I'm not doing a 4. I'm just doing a band.
Okay, do a band.
I'm going to go with Rise Against. So I do really enjoy them. It was so. Are we going to talk about the concert that we went to?
Well, okay. So at the end of this, we're going to do a favorite concert. So
is that the one you're going to talk about?
Well, that was one of my favorite concerts. So, but let's
okay.
talk
So
about
I went to a concert. Adam talked me into going to a concert, Foo Fighter concert. And I went because Rise Against was opening for them. I was like, nah, these dudes rock.
Really good.
Oh, no. Okay. So I totally know my next band. All right. I know the fourth one.
Okay.
So Rise Against is a ton of fun. They're socially conscious. They're vegan, so I can't have lunch with them or anything. But their lyrics are pretty thoughtful. They're pretty high tempo, which I enjoy. And so there are some that I skip, like they're just a little too rough, where it's just like I can't do this. This is a bit heavy, but like one a little bit of problem too is like I gear my music towards Guitar Hero because I played so much of it. And they had "Suffer in the Witness," which is a fantastic song, was on Guitar Hero, and that's what kind of brought me into them. I more have records that I really like, and so I could go on and on about records, not necessarily about like whole indexes of artists. So the "Suffer in the Witness" album for Rise Against, and that one is
the first.
No, they had another one that was like something about the radio or I don't know. But yeah, I really liked that CD specifically, and I just love that song. So
I only know a couple of them.
Yeah. So they're not huge. They got a couple of radio plays, at least in Minnesota. Like they could be bigger in different parts of the country.
All right, my next one is from basically high school. Like I'll continue to go back to this, but it's Outkast. So that's my only non-rock.
I totally knew you would say this one.
Yeah, so I'll jump back to that every now and like right now. Recently, I just started listening to Outkast again, just because I'm going, working, get through all my talk radio and podcasts.
They're awesome.
And I still jam out. And actually, my boys like a lot of their songs, except there's swearing in it. So when they're swearing, I like yell really loud. Like all of a sudden,
you have like Tourette's.
About to say fuck, and I'm like, ah.
Does it work?
I don't know.
Do you have surround sound speakers?
That's where I'm like.
Do you like put it up front?
Probably just hear it back there, but I'm yelling, trying to.
You're probably bringing attention to it.
What's gonna be funny is maybe they think that that's part of the lyrics. So when they get older and they're like with their friends and they start singing the song, like they just start yelling for no reason. I thought those were part of this. That was the song. Yeah. So you're
damaging them.
I liked. Well, really was the Stankonia CD was the one that got me
for
in.
sure.
And
that
then
one was good.
You go to their older stuff, and then you actually can go into like some of their stuff where they were with. You can hear when CeeLo was before he was CeeLo, before he got big and everything.
Before he became an awful person.
Yeah. But he was part of like the Dungeon family and all that stuff. So they've done a lot of stuff, and they are very upbeat stuff, or there's some chill music as well.
Did you ever watch that video I tagged you on Facebook from Key and Peele?
Which one?
It was with Outkast. It was about Outkast.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, man. It's fucking hilarious. I might tag that underneath this podcast.
I'm going to watch it.
Man, it's just like nowadays Big Boy meeting up with Andre 3000.
Oh, really?
And like Andre just being bonkers crazy. And Big Boy just going, come on, man. Like it's super funny. I love it.
So that's awesome. I actually want to watch that. When did you tag me in that?
8 months ago. I tagged you and Grant in it.
Your brother Grant?
Yes.
Nice. All right, what's your next song? Next band.
Yeah, let's go with System of a Down.
I like that band.
Yeah.
That was the first Foo Fighter concert I went to.
And I'll also bring in like Serge Tankian.
Yeah.
Tankian.
Oh, I should take that back. That was Serge by himself.
It was Serge by himself
opening for Foo.
So System of a Down is probably one of the few bands where I have I'm pretty sure I have every CD of theirs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're They're good through and through. Like, they're super fast most of the time, but then they have those tempo changes you were talking about. They have like comedy in some of them. Like Cigarro is a super funny song where they're talking like it's talking about smoking a cigar, but talking about like dick size and like it's really funny. It's really fast. It's like a minute long song.
I think I only know all their main ones that they had.
And their main ones are fantastic.
Yeah. Their videos were sweet with that too, where he does like the little whisper and the dude's soul comes out and does the little whisper. Yeah.
No, and I know I've done an opener with System of a Down, and like that is one of my favorite songs. It's the Chop Suey.
Yeah, Chop Suey is awesome.
I love that song. So, and that was like their first big hit. That entire album, I could still sit down and listen to forever. Like it's still really, really good.
Yep, so. I dig that one. I like System of a Down. Very good.
I'm cheating. I got another one that's a little. Go ahead.
My next one is one that is recently touring. They have been on hiatus.
Just announced it.
Rage Against Machine. I love Rage Against Machine. But they're touring for 2020, and they're all. It's funny because all their locations are southern cities by the border.
You know? Oh, really?
Yeah, right now at the point. They only have 4 spots that they're touring, but Rage Against Machine, I was supposed to go see live. And Tyson and I were going to go, and he bought the tickets through my name, but put his address in with my credit card. So we found out like a couple days before the concert was supposed to, or
that everything was rejected.
Yeah. And then we didn't get to go, and I was like, fuck. And then I hear from like Trombley said it, and I've heard from like the radio people, morning shows that I listen to, they talked about that was the best concert they've ever been to because the Republican convention was in the Twin Cities at that time, and they were like right across the street, and they had riot police standing outside making sure that things didn't go crazy, and like the atmosphere of that made the whole concert just go nuts.
Interesting.
So, but Rage, they're freaking. There's a Rage tribute band that I go see occasionally.
You do.
And they do a good job of it. They're not Rage, but I like them that much that I'll go see a tribute band.
What did I say years ago about them that I still get shit for?
What? No, that you didn't.
What did I say? Like, do you know who's overrated?
Yeah, I said Rage.
I was like Rage, and everybody piled on.
Get out of here, Lowry! Get out of here!
Germany was even there.
We'll play a song, and you'll start jamming. Like, Lowry, stop enjoying this.
I'm not even allowed to listen to Rage Against the Machine in the group anymore, just because I did say. Do you know who's overrated? Because I bought one of their CDs, the one with Guerrilla Radio on it. Yeah, that's a good song.
That's actually what got me in. Guerrilla Radio was the first song that I liked.
But the album did nothing for me.
And the gals that were working there, they were pretty cute, and they were all about Rage Against the Machine. And I listened to it there, and then that kind of started things for Rage.
I wish I got into Rage Against the Machine with the Rally Around the Family, Pocket Full of Shells. Like that. I wish I got in that because then I never even listened to that CD, but I'll bet you I like that one better than Guerrilla Radio.
I think you don't like, you say are overrated is because you base it off your Guitar Hero because that was such an easy song.
For sure. For sure.
You're like, this song sucks because it's too easy. I can beat this on Expert.
That does factor into things. When I'm like,
all
this
your
boring,
song bases is based on Guitar Hero.
Yeah. No, yeah. If it's not like complex enough, then it's like, oh, that's kind of boring.
Yeah, because I know. Okay, your next one.
My next one, Queens of the Stone Age.
That's what I was gonna say was your next one.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've said this before, but my favorite band is your favorite band's favorite band. Yeah, and
no, it's not their
totally
favorite
true.
band. He's the drummer for your band, basically.
No, just for the one CD.
He
almost left Foo Fighters.
They were fighting.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm just going to join this other, probably better band.
Their band drummer sucks compared to Dave Grohl, because Dave Grohl is amazing. That's my
drummer.
number one, by the way.
Foo Fighters.
In a second.
Dave Grohl. Not even. No, okay, so Queens of the Stone Age, they have some weird albums that I don't really like.
I only know the one album because I didn't know they made more than one.
Oh, what? That's
how big they are.
There are two. Yeah, they're not huge by any means, but they have some really. I wish I had actually okay. So Threes and Sevens is probably the most recent album that I really enjoy, and that has
Is that the one with Dave on drums?
No, that's the other one that I can't remember. But Threes and Sevens is more recent, and that has a Guitar Hero song, but some ridiculous songs. I love that CD. Go check that one out. And then the other one is it's a red cover for the CD. Why can't I remember it? But that's where Dave Grohl is on drums for most of that.
Does it make you feel bad that the only song that really got on the radio is a song that they had to have Dave Grohl on with them?
They've had a couple. So like Go With the Flow.
Their biggest song.
Go With the Flow is
a Guitar Hero rock band song.
That's Rock Band 1. But that was my initial karaoke song. That's the only one. That's the one I start out with.
Go with the flow.
And so that is the only reason I'm able to
like
do at the
song
beginning.
And
they have a
because
bigger
of
song.
Rock Band.
Go check out Mosquito Song. That one is amazing. That's at the end of that album. But Queens of the Stone Age is a ton of fun. I try and Lullabies to Paralyzed. That's a weird album. I kind of stayed away from that one. I didn't like that one very much. So like they have really good CDs, like entire album. Like I'll just listen through.
You have to speak
over and
to
over
the
and
terms
over
of our audience because there's probably a lot of youngins. CDs.
Sure. Yeah, it's an album. It's just the entire thing that they're trying to put out, not just these digital singles.
Buy what songs you want.
No, like, but there are some artists out there put an entire album out for the album as an art because like
actually
there are some CDs.
So Tool's new CD,
yeah,
the only way you can purchase their like main song is you have to buy the whole album
for sure, and because it's an entire artistic thing.
And that's why they took so long to actually put their albums on iTunes is because they want you to actually have the physical copy and read I think the booklets that came with it, and they wanted you to actually go through all that stuff, the visual stuff.
When an artist does the entire album in mind in a certain order in a certain way, that can enhance the listening experience. Like not just jumping from single to single. I think there are for sure certain, and they're getting away from it more and more progressively from whenever iTunes came out.
You got to make the money off the one hit, pay
Sure.
$1.30 to get that song and then move on.
And that I think that's a big thing where like Outkast like has an entire album that's just like solid. It's just like I can listen to this and
theirs
drive.
was interesting because what they would do is you'd have a song and then you'd have a skit that would lead into the next song, and then you'd have a skit. So it was like 30 seconds, 45 seconds in between each song.
And that part was annoying. But
it was.
But it also like I guess Eminem, he's my number one. Yeah. Eminem does skits in between as well. Yeah. Which are just like they're annoying for me.
So you would say Eminem's your number one? Is that one that
No, it's just the last one that I'd go with Queens of the Stone Age for my number one.
Your number one. I was thinking that.
So, but just having an entire album go through really like resonates with me a lot more than just
with Eminem. Totally, when I hear a song. And then, like, if I hear it on the radio, I know, like, on the CD what should be coming next. Like, this skit should be happening right after that because that's how that one was listened to.
And so you're, like, listening through the entire album. Yeah. And am I getting into my number one? Oh, yeah, let's do mine first because you're a lot more passionate about yours.
I don't need to talk very long about it.
So, like, with Eminem, like, he has a huge catalog. And I'm not a huge fan of the skits. But like just the songs, his first couple albums were just like really cohesive, really went well together. Like an example, and a lot of people shitted on it, was Revival, which was so Kamikaze is the most recent one. Revival was maybe 3 years ago at this point, maybe 2. I don't remember at this. But Revival was produced by 2 different people. It was Dr. Dre and Rick Rubin. You could fucking tell. It was like, oh, this is a mess of a CD.
Oh, really?
Like, it'd go back and forth. And I was, in my mind, I was like, if he did, like, 6 more songs between or like 3 and 3, did a double album, and just, like, Rick Rubin's side, Dr. Dre's side, 100 times better.
because they kind of mixed it back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just like, the tone shift between the songs were really throwing off like the feel of the album, and it just was, as an album, you couldn't get into it and just go, oh, this is a good song, this is a good song, and then you're just like, skip, good song, skip. There was like 18 tracks on it.
Jeez.
And so I only wanted to listen to like 5. You're like, skip. Yeah, that's right. And so if something can get me to play it through when I'm driving for work and stuff like that, and I can just keep on listening to it, like right now, so not on my top list, but NF is a rapper. Really good
rapping.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. Lowry back in the day, his CDs had to have diamonds on them, the CD covers.
NF has a fantastic album out right now that I just listen front to back and replay it, and I've been listening to it for 2 months.
I've never even heard of him.
So yeah, no, it's really, really good to listen to.
What's the NF stand for?
It's just initials. I don't know, Nate something, Nathaniel. I don't fucking know. I said he's not in my top list or anything. So, but it's a really good album to listen to right now. And your number one, you already said, so no drum roll. Dave Grohl.
Lady Gaga. Actually, I do have Lady Gaga as an honorable mention.
Really?
Yeah, that's on see right there, Lady Gaga. And
how do you see
Red
that?
Hot Chili Peppers and
is that why we didn't
RJD2.
give it away? Oh yeah, all right. I like them all.
RJD2 is all about beats, so that's one where I don't want to like.
Yeah,
I can't hear words. I want to be able to concentrate, and that beat just gets it. But Foo Fighters, yes, that is my number one band. If you guys are longtime listeners from the beginning, we kind of talked about it. I got mine. It's mine and my wife's favorite band.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't my first concert I went to. Actually, first concert was Outkast that I went to. But it was my first. I've gone to like 9 or 10 Foo Fighter concerts.
You've traveled.
Yep. So that's part of it too. Is I was going to say my favorite concerts that I've ever been to was actually the Rise Against and Foo Fighters one.
That's mainly because you almost saw me beat ass.
No, the reason why I like the Foo Fighters in that one is how they opened that show. Do you remember that? They had the speakers all down. They dropped the speakers down from the ceiling, and this is how they opened it. It was all black and everything, and then each one of them was in between the speakers.
Oh, okay.
And they played Bridges Burning. And they opened dun, 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 and then the lights came on and those speakers just flew up to the ceiling. That was one of their best, and that was the last time I was on the fucking floor because the mosh pit of teenagers that erupted behind us, and then Lowry had to be our bouncer.
I became a bouncer.
But the festivals down in Gulf Shores, Alabama, which I mean you're in Alabama, but. Yeah,
there's no problem there.
No problem there. Sorry, guys, if you're from Alabama. But Gulf Shores, Alabama, it's a beach festival. There's like 7 or 8 stages. You have a main stage, a secondary stage, which are opposite sides of the festival from each other, but like you can see one from the other side. They're just completely on it. And then you have all these mini stages on the side. And of the main stages, they're just alternating, so they're not conflicting with the sound and everything. Yeah. But all the mini ones, everybody's playing on these tents or other stages and everything that are over there. The Foo Fighters, the time that they had to come in because CeeLo was late getting off his plane, they came off the beach. They were at the beach, and the people from Hangout, I think it was Hangout or De Luna, one out of the two. It was Hangout. They went over and they were like, here's $30,000. Can you come fill in for CeeLo? He's not here. And so I wanted to see CeeLo, and all of a sudden Foo Fighters come on the stage in the middle of the day because they were headlining that night. So they came on and they're like, fuck, we were on the beach, and they were just like, brought a bag of $30,000 and said, can you guys come play? Because CeeLo's not here. And we're like, shit. And so they came on and played all covers, like Queen. They played.
That'd be bam.
Yeah, they played Rolling Stone. They did all these covers, none of their songs. And at the end, they played Prince, Little Nicky. Is it Little Nicky or Nicky? You know,
he wasn't on my list. I don't know anything about Prince.
But he played that, and that's when CeeLo jumped in with that. He did like a cover with that, and so then CeeLo and then they did it together, and then CeeLo
that's
did
pretty dope.
5 minutes of his songs back to back really quick. So that was one of my.
It's like I was staged for 30 minutes, but let's get this done in 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, with Foo Fighters, it's a bunch of different things. If I'm in a mood that they have such a range of music, like tempo-wise. I mean, they made an acoustic album, so if I just want to chill, there's probably 40 or 50 songs I can choose from just listening to that. If I want to rock out, they have that. There's just so many parts to that their music is all around. And the funny thing is like, I'm a Foo Fighter fan. I like Nirvana. I like a lot of main songs and all that, but I'm not into Nirvana. Like, It's completely different. I like Dave's voice more than him playing actually the drums. He's a badass drummer, but
he is.
Them as a group, like when he goes off and does Them Crooked Vultures, which I believe is from somebody from Queens of this one person.
So yeah, there's a mashup for Them Crooked Vultures,
which
and also like Radio City, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that because it's not Foo. You know, they have a sound.
I actually don't like Crooked. I bought Crooked Vultures, their one hit that came out. I was like, oh, that's good. And then the rest, I was like, nope, not me.
So I don't know. There's just a style that comes with them, and then like I said, my wife and I have gone to 9 different shows. I believe we're at 9 right now. And they're making another album right now, so it's going to be a lot more. And our boys are getting older, so we'll actually be able to go travel. I think when they tour again, we're going to take Drake to his first show.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Well, what's your favorite concert that you've been to?
I might actually have to say the Rise Against and Foo Fighter.
It was so much. I mean, besides that mosh part, like Rise Against was really good. Yeah, and then it went into that. When you have a good opener, I've gone to a lot of Foo Fighter concerts where it was just like, nah. The opener sucks.
So the things that stood out for me there was like Rise Against. I really enjoyed them, and it was a lot of fun. But like it was. So Minnesota also has like a weird like concert vibe. Mm-hmm. So like we're all really like quiet people, and so like I went to like a Less Than Jake concert with my buddy Matt, and 75% of the people sitting back and just kind of bob their head and they're like, oh, I dig this. And they're like a ska band, really high energy going. And they're like, come on, you fuckers. And then like everybody, I'm in the back. I'm that same person. I'm just bobbing my head and I'm going, oh, we're all really lame. Like, and then at the end we clap really nice. And they're like, woo, encore. And they're like, fuck you guys. That happens a lot in smaller venues in Minnesota. And so like the energy for me isn't really there, and so the energy was really cool at that Foo Fighter concert, because we were on the
really
floor there.
Close.
Yeah, we were really close.
I think we started at about like, if you would count rows, we were probably like 10, 12 rows back of people. Yeah, and then as it mosh pitted on, I think we gradually moved back.
The other thing that stood out that I really liked with the Foo Fighters was they went for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it was a really long...
That was awesome. Yeah. I was like, this is really cool. They did like every song you knew and then everything new. And then the third thing, they brought on like, was it like a violinist from Minnesota Orchestra?
She that album, she did a lot of that.
Oh, did she? Yeah. I don't think I realized that because I didn't know their new stuff. And I was just like, that's really cool that we got to like be there for that. That was part of their...
From Echoes, Patience, Silence, and Grace, and so she was on that album touring, and she was from Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And so like
that's really cool.
Yeah. So then later they did you can actually download this one. It's a really freaking cool thing if you want to download the Live at Wembley Stadium. When they play there for the first time, they sold it out, and they actually had to play 2 shows there, but they got like...
They didn't have to. They're not forced.
But I mean, she was there, like they got fuck, why am I blanking on it? But they had a bunch of guests that came on. Led Zeppelin, name the guitarist. Shit, it sucks that I'm not doing this right.
Bleep.
Page, Jimmy Page.
Oh, Jimmy Page. I have heard that name.
Yeah. So they had some really sweet guests that came on and rocked out, and like they started crying at the end of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then they had the roof open, and then fireworks and all this stuff. It's a really sweet concert to watch, but it's the same album that we went and saw.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So. That was that was an awesome
that
concert.
Tool concert we went to, like
that was a problem of where our tickets were. I mean,
I have that problem a lot though. Like that's why I'm not a huge concert buff. Like I don't go out a whole ton when it comes to that.
I should say it's a problem where your tickets were. We had good tickets, and Lowry was by himself, and Cindy and I were like, "Oh, I don't want Lowry to be by himself." So Lowry had tickets on the side. And so we were just like, all right, we'll leave our seats because we were like in the front. Like
I was
in the
by
middle.
myself for 27 years. It's fine. You
We're
can
like,
leave me
we'll
alone.
come and hang out with you, Lowry. But we were on the side of the stage, and you couldn't see any of the visual stuff that they had up. And that's what Tool is about, is they show a bunch of videos.
But it's, my problem is like, I really have a hard time hearing live. Like, it's just, there's like too much going on and my ears can't bring it in. It's like, it feels like I'm in a bar with the music and I'm like, I can't hear the conversation. I can't hear the music. I can't hear any of it. And so it's like not very pleasurable for me.
But when you're 7-10 rows.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, thank God. But like
7-10
when we
rows
did
in front of you and they're blasting in your ears.
Yeah, that was,
you don't
that was
have any
fine.
echoes or anything.
Yeah, that was clear for me as well. So that's, it's not really a thing for me. So both our number one concerts. That says either a lot or that we don't go to a lot of concerts. You go to a lot more than I do. I haven't been to a concert.
Festivals are a little different. Festival, I would say we got the closest we've ever been. We were there was 2 people in front of us because we had to camp out. A bunch of hippies.
That sounds awful.
Not like camping. You just get there early enough in the day and listen to all the other bands, which I came across. Like Trampled by Turtles was there, which is a Minnesota band,
Duluth,
which was really fucking awesome. They're wearing like their Twins gear down there and everything. But like we were there from 11 o'clock until they played at like 9 that night. So it was,
that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. So anyways,
that was 20 minutes.
All right.
Maybe 25.
We should finish this up. I think that's it. So next week we will hit up the mana.
Yeah, we'll do the mana bases for 3 color and 5 color, maybe even 4.
And remember, go on Twitter, share the hashtag the Great Henge giveaway.
No, the Great Quip giveaway.
Win the Quip.
Win the Quip.
Win the Quip. It's not going to beat.
It's down to like 4 people.
Actually, there was more shares on the second one than there were on the first one. It was like doubled up.
I think people 4 to 8.
Yeah.
But 4 of the first people also did it. So they got 2 entries.
Yeah.
It's
all right, that's it for this week, guys. We will get you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see ya.
Bye.